Hi there, my name's April Sawtelle and welcome to my channel. Today what I'm going to be doing is just showing you a really easy way how to make an infinity scarf. You're just going to need some pins, a rotary cutter, scissors, and a 1-yard cut piece of fabric. I just got this fabric. It's the Riley Blake Damask Love line, and I just had gotten this quite a while back off the So Yeah online sale that they were having. So I'm not sure if you'd still be able to find this particular piece or not. And this one, I'm just not really sure the brand of it. I got this at some estate sale along the way. Right now, I'm loving the look of the quilt clothes that a lot of people are wearing. Now, I don't love taking an old quilt and cutting it up and making clothes that way. I just like making a look like it's a quilt and adding them to clothes. So what I want to do today is I want to make that look on for an infinity scarf. So when I went through my fabric, I decided to just go with something that already has that look, that already looks like it's been pieced together. And I have quite a lot of fabric that looks like that, so I might as well use that. I'm just going to show you a really quick, easy way to turn this into a cute little scarf that looks like I've pieced it all together. You really can do this with several different fabrics. Fabrics with stretch, you could use chiffon, you could use minky, you could use flannel. I'm just using a regular cotton, and it's just going to be quilting cotton, but it's really flimsy. It's not a real stiff cotton, so really the more draped the better. Okay, let's get started. I'm just going to take my 1-yard cut here, and I'm going to fold this in half. See, it's on the fold. And I'm just going to fold this in half right there. All I want to do is fold this in half so I can get rid of the selvage. All right, now I'm just going to cut the selvage off. You want to come in enough so you see all 4 layers here. All I'm going to do now is just cut along the fold. So I'm just going to take my scissors. So here's the open side. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut right here along that fold line. All I'm going to do now is put right sides together. I'll stick a couple of pins in there. When I open this up, I have a nice long piece of fabric. Now I'm going to take this to the sewing machine. I'm going to sew a 1/2 inch down to connect these pieces the long way. I've got my painter's tape here set at a 1/2 inch. And all I'm going to do is put my pressure foot down right here at this 1/2 inch, and I'm going to follow my tape all the way down my fabric, pulling my pins out as I go. I'm going to give it a quick back stitch right there on the end. And I'm going to give a quick back stitch at the end. There's my new seam I've put in, connecting those 2 pieces. I'm going to open this up. Now I'm going to just fold this in half, hot dog style. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 2 seams and I'm going to line them up. Take your seam here and push the top one to the right, push the bottom one to the left, then they will nest nicely. Go ahead and put a pin right in there. Once you've folded this in half and you've brought each edge up, go ahead, stick a couple of pins in. And then do the same to the other side. Just maneuver your fabric. You can just take your fingers and line that up. Now we're going to take this to the sewing machine, and all we're going to do now is sew a 1/2 inch all the way down. And you're just going to line that one seam right here so that that's where the seam's going to stay. And you're just going to go over that and you're going to go all the way to the end. Again, I've got my painter's tape at 1/2 inch. So I'm going to take both layers here and I'm going to stick that under my pressure foot, lining it up with my painter's tape. So I'm at 1/2 inch. I'm just going to go ahead and start and then give it a back stitch. I'm going to pull my pins out as I go and I'm just going to follow all the way down this tube. And I just keep maneuvering it to get, get it straight again. Keep it right straight with my painter's tape. Here's my seam. I pushed one seam that way and one seam that way so they nest. And I'm just going to go over that. I'll go a little slow. There's quite a lot of fabric there. There. And just continue on. And give it a back stitch at the end. Now we have this really long tube. Okay, all I'm going to do now is reach inside and pull it right side out. If any of you have watched my hair scrunchies tutorials, it's really kind of the same thing. It's just bigger. Okay, I'm just going to pull that through. Just going to grab it by the seam here and just kind of straighten it out a little bit so that all the seam will be facing me. Now just go ahead, fold this. Let's fold it in half and we're going to meet the two edges up here together. There's the two edges. Okay, so now we've got 4 pieces here. Take this top one, just pull it back. So you're just grabbing the 2 insides of these 4 pieces. Let's just go ahead and put some pins in here. Just a couple, just to get started because we're going to have a lot of maneuvering to do. Okay, now that's going to be held together. We're going to go to the sewing machine and we're not going to sew the bottom or the top. We're just going to sew the 2 middles together. We're going to do the same thing, 1/2 inch all the way around. It's not going to allow us to go all the way around though. You'll see. I'll show you over at the sewing machine. Okay, so now what you want to do, you've got your top has nothing, your bottom has nothing, your 2 middles are what we're going for. You're just going to take and tuck that bottom way under. So here's the bottom way over there. You're going to tuck this top way over here. We need those out of the way. We're going to take where we've got our pins and let's set our pressure foot down at 1/2 inch, right where these 2 pins are going to be. It's going to be a lot of maneuvering, you'll see, but it's really easy. The most important thing is to keep the bottom and the top piece out of where we're sewing. You don't want that to get sewn over. I'm lined up here at my 1/2 inch, which my tape is telling me I'm at 1/2 inch. I've got my bottom piece here pulled over that way. I've got my top pulled over that way. I'm only dealing with the middle pieces here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start right here, give it a couple of stitches, and then back stitch. And I'm just going to go slow all the way around, and I'll show you how we're going to maneuver this. Pull your pins out as you go. And I can get right here about to this next pin. I'm going to pull that pin out. All right, now I'm going back down here to the bottom and I'm going to grab this bottom and I'm going to pull this, taut right here. I'm going to pull this piece of the top taut as well. And you can see here, I just need these edges to meet up. All right, I'm going to pull it back to my line here, which is my guide, and I'm going to just continue sewing. I'm going to keep doing this until I can't do it anymore. Okay, see how I'm all bunched up here? Everything's starting to get all tucked under each other. And now I need to just readjust everything. Okay, I'm going to take the bottom, pull it taut, take the top, make sure there's nothing underneath it. Make sure I'm lined up on the edges as far as I can go without anything being tucked underneath. So I can go right here to my finger. Okay, And I'll just do that. Okay, now let's see if I can do any more. I'm getting close. I think I can do it one more time. You can see I'm all bunched up here. I want to be careful. I'm going to take this bottom piece, pull that taut, see if I can do any more with this top piece. And only go as far as what it's going to allow me to go. So realistically, I can only go to here. I can only go as far as it's going to allow me to go. I'll give it a back stitch right there. You can see now I can't do anything without it being bunched up. I'm going to cut the thread right there. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to push this inside of my scarf. Okay? I'm going to pull this all together. Now I have this piece that I cannot do that's opened. I could hand sew it so you wouldn't see it. I'm not going to hand sew it. I am going to just fold these edges in. I'm going to fold this in and pull where it meets up. Okay, it meets up right there. You can see how that is just... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give that a little pinch right there in the middle, and I'm going to stick a little pin there. And then I'm just going to make sure, put a pin here to hold that closed. Now on a lot of things when I sew stuff like this, I would go press that. I don't need to though. I really am not, I don't need to for the fact that you're not going to see it. It's going to be all crinkled up on you. And this is going to be right on the back. I'm going to put a really small stitch here to connect these two pieces. Now I'm just going to stick this under my machine. Flatten it out the best I can. Put this under my pressure foot. Now I'm not going to use my tape anymore. I'm going to lower my pressure foot. And I am only going to be probably an eighth, even less than an eighth. I'm just going to get started in here. I just want to be over enough to connect these two edges. Start right there, and I'm going to give it a back stitch. I'm going to pull the pins out as I go, and I'm going to stay as close to this edge as I possibly can. Coming up to the end, and when I get there, I'm going to give it a back stitch. Break my thread. Cut my loose little threads off here. Now here's the closure. Now let me open this up. So you're going to have a seam here. There will be that seam. You're going to wear that in the back. So here's what it looks like when it comes out. So there's my seam that's going to be in the back that nobody will ever see. And here's what the scarf looks like. So just stretch it out. It's got like a little twist to it. And when you put it on, you just put it on over your head. Put that little seam in the back. And then just drape this over your head. Now you've got the look like you've pieced some fabric together and turned it into a scarf, even though the fabric came that way. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Remember to keep it simple. Have a nice day. Thanks for watching. Bye.